As the stone door opened, the group followed the yellow-robed monk into a square passage, reaching a stone hall 100 feet later. At the center of the stone hall was a chessboard with black and white pieces. And playing chess were an old boy, Senior Blue, a first-stage Nascent Soul cultivator, and an old man with a long face, Junior Hu. After recognizing Senior Blue, the by-surnamed monk bowed, and Du Wei and Yu Shannon also bowed. The old boy and Junior Hu continued to play chess, while the others stood with their hands down. After the chess game, the old boy asked the by-surnamed Confucian scholar how long he had been in the ancient sword sect, revealing that the by-surnamed Confucian scholar was the closed-door disciple of the Master of Pavilion Hua Ran and asking him to return to the Master of Pavilion Hua Ran. The by-surnamed Confucian scholar turned pale and did not deny it, but said that he would not be captured. The boy ordered the monks to disperse and studied the chessboard himself. Han Li and his group were led to a light yellow stone door, guarded by Elder Wei, an old man with loose hair. The gray-clothed elder of the Luo Yun sect recognized Elder Wei. But Elder Wei stated that he had sworn not to form a nascent soul or leave the mountain, and that he was not concerned with the sect's affairs. Elder Wei opened the stone door, and everyone entered a cave containing a spirit eye tree. The cave was filled with stone pillars, sealed by restrictions. Elder Wei broke the restrictions, and the stone pillars moved, forming a path leading to the center of the cave. The spirit eye tree was an arm-thick, pale green, straight object, enveloped in a golden light shield. Han Li noticed a jade bottle beneath the spirit eye tree, which caught his attention. Du Dong secretly sends a message to Han Li, and Han Li discovers that there are other accomplices in the room. Yin Yu suggests breaking through the barrier, but Han Li refuses and plans to act when chaos ensues. The cave shakes and cultivators attack from outside. The long-faced old man leads his people to fight. A yellow-clad cultivator leads his disciples into hiding, ordering Senior Marshal Brother Wei to guard the cave. Disciples from various sects gather to chat. Sun Huo expresses his regret that Uncle Master Bai is a traitor. A woman surnamed Mu mocks Sun Huo for not having family support, making it difficult for him to form a golden core. Du Dong calls Uncle Master Bai a pitiful person, and Sun Huo asks with curiosity. A tense standoff ensues in a meditation chamber between a cultivator, a Confucian scholar, and Du Dong. Du Dong, utilizing the Great Myriad Illusions technique, disguises himself as a giant and attempts to kill Han Li. The Confucian scholar cautions Du Dong against reckless actions, as descendants of the heavenly hate old monster could be present. Du Dong employs black magic to control other cultivators, and he and the Confucian scholar depart. Han Li reveals he did not die but used a silver moon illusionary body to deceive Du Dong. Han Li confesses he cultivated the Great Evolution technique, which granted him formidable divine sense, allowing him to penetrate Du Dong's disguise. The long-haired elder was reluctant to let the two fellow Taoists take away the spirit eye tree, but he was willing to provide spirit liquid as compensation. Du Dong agreed to the long-haired elder's proposal, and the Confucian scholar consented silently. Just as the long-haired elder was about to hand over the spirit liquid, 3 sect cultivators suddenly appeared and subdued Du Dong and the Confucian scholar. The blue surname boy exposed the identities of Du Dong and the Confucian scholar as spies, and said that the 3 sects had prepared a trap. Suddenly, an elder surnamed Zhang sent a sound transmission talisman, saying that the 3 sects had been ambushed by the demonic Tao and needed reinforcements. The bold child angrily rebuked the heavenly demon True Monarch, who then ambushed the white-clothed young woman. The heavenly demon True Monarch captured the long-faced old man as a hostage, and the blue young man pursued him. Elder Fu and other righteous cultivators fought against Du Dong and his men, while Han Li took the opportunity to steal the spiritual fluid. The heavenly demon True Monarch fought the blue young man, who then left to pursue the escaped demonic cultivator. The heavenly demon True Monarch chased out of the cave, while Han Li successfully obtained the spiritual fluid and escaped. Han Li returned to the quiet room, where his disciples were still unconscious. Silver Moon transformed into him pretending to be unconscious and returned to her original form after Han Li came back. Han Li used an illusion talisman to deceive the yellow-robed cultivator, explaining that he hadn't died, and obtained the yellow-robed cultivator's understanding. The 3 sects failed to purge Lingmu, and the Taoist surnamed Fu and others distributed magic tools as compensation. And the sword trial assembly ended. Han Li and his disciples returned to the Fallen Cloud Sect, where they were questioned by the high-level members about the Forbidden Zone incident. They learned that the plans of the three sects had failed, that the sect master of the Heavenly Fiend sect had appeared, and that the Confucian scholar surnamed Bai had been killed. Several core formation cultivators and nascent soul elders of the three sects had been killed or seriously injured. The righteous and demonic sects refused to acknowledge this, and although the three sects exerted pressure, it was to no avail. However, they secretly breathed a sigh of relief when they learned that the pure liquid was ineffective and that the Black Heaven Immortal vine hadn't been revived. Han Li returned to his cave abode and transplanted the Eye of Spirit Tree's spirit root near the 9-bend spirit ginseng. Han Li successfully concocted the Winding Vein ginseng elixir in his cave dwelling. Han Li perfected the method of ripening Winding Vein ginseng using green liquid. Securing the supply of raw materials, Han Li reminisced about his life experiences, gaining an epiphany into the ways of heaven and earth, and his mind was honed. Han Li made preparations for forming his nascent soul, activating the cave dwelling's Jin Ji and ordering Silver Moon to guard the entrance. 3 months later, a woman surnamed Mu flew anxiously to the herb garden, learning that Han Li had already entered seclusion to form his nascent soul. Numerous spiritual light vortexes appear in the air, startling a woman surnamed Mu. The strange spiritual light phenomenon covers an area of 100 miles. Witnessed by countless cultivators of the Falling Cloud Sect, low-level cultivators feel immense spiritual pressure, which is hard to bear. Cultivators outside the Falling Cloud Sect also sense the spiritual power fluctuation and are astonished. The silver-haired elder of the main peak of the Falling Cloud Sect is shocked to find out that someone is about to form a nascent soul. The middle-aged cultivator surnamed Lu also senses the strange change, suspecting that it is an internal cultivator forming a nascent soul. The silver-haired elder speculates that the person forming a nascent soul could be an outsider who has infiltrated the sect. The elder believes that it is not appropriate to disturb the nascent soul formation process, and chooses to observe the changes. If the nascent soul formation is successful, it will benefit the Falling Cloud Sect, and they may even be able to make connections with the cultivator. An anomaly suddenly occurs on Stonecliff Mountain. After the disappearance of a multicolored cloud of mist, a giant shadow of light emerges and scans the assembled cultivators. The light shadow disperses, and Han Li in the meditation room completes the formation of his nascent soul. Silver Moon addresses Han Li as her master and expresses her hopes for his future. Cultivators outside Stonecliff Mountain speculate that the anomaly is related to Han Li and discover the deserted medicinal garden. A woman with the surname Mu arrives on the scene and suspects that the celestial sign is linked to Han Li. Elder Feng and other core formation cultivators arrive and declare the area within 10 miles of Stonecliff Mountain a forbidden zone. Leaving Miss Mu behind to inquire about the medicinal garden, Han Li advances to the nascent soul stage in a secluded cave. Prompting an inquiry visit from Cloud Mist sect elders, Han Li courteously receives the two elders and explains his advancement. They offer congratulations and express surprise at Han Li's mastery of puppetry. Han Li reveals he learned puppetry from an anonymous text, hails from the Yu country in the southern heaven, and maintains his youthful appearance with the longevity pills. The elders, discovering Han Li is merely 200 years old, are astounded. Han Li is invited to join the Luo Yun sect by its supreme elder, who offers him generous treatment and guidance on nascent soul cultivation. Han Li is tempted but needs time to consider and asks for 3 days to respond. An elder with silver hair and a cultivator named Lu demarcate a forbidden zone to avoid disturbing Han Li cultivation. Han Li contracted fox demon. Yin Yu reverts to her original form, revealing that she can only support the transformation for a limited time. Han Li inquires about the method to open the void sky cauldron and learns that it is a heavenly spiritual treasure, and refining the dry blue ice flame is the first step to opening it. Han Li decides to stay in the Fallen Cloud Sect temporarily after condensing his nascent soul. Han Li plans for the future include solidifying his nascent soul and traveling to the furthest west to obtain the last 3 levels of the Great Evolution. Yin Yu suggests that Han Li cultivate in the sect and receive guidance from nascent soul cultivators. Han Li recalls his experience in forming the nascent soul, including shattering his golden core, fighting his inner demons, and the nascent soul leaving his body. Han Li agrees to join the Fallen Cloud Sect and requests that everything be kept discreet. Synopsis: declined the request from the Murong woman to take her as a disciple. Move close to 10,000 gold-devouring beetles to the insect room. The newly evolved gold-devouring beetles displayed ferocious characteristics. Han Li prepared to cultivate higher-grade spirit insects and spirit medicine. Han Li discreetly left the cave dwelling to avoid stirring trouble, successfully refined the nascent soul and gained initial control over it. Yin Yu reported the Murong woman's request for assistance again and messaged talismans from the Yan and Murong families. Han Li plans to take Zhu Ji female cultivator, Mu Peeling, who spread rumors, as his concubine. Han Li gives her two choices: a public concubine, but shall actually be a personal maid, or a private concubine. And Han Li will give her guidance on cultivation. Mu Peeling hesitates, and Han Li gives her 2 days to consider. Han Li conditions for a concubine are strict, considering both Mu Peeling's wishes and Han Li privacy. Silver Moon thinks that it will be hard for Mu Peeling to make a choice, because the soul restraint technique is a big concern for her. Murong Linger agrees to become Han Li handmaid. Han Li warns Murong Linger to cut off contact with her former boyfriend and gives her a restrictive token to let her manage his formations. Han Li arranges Murong Linger to reside in a mountain, intending to formally accept her as a concubine after placing a seal on her soul. Han Li reveals to Yin Yu that he intends to use Murong Linger to practice a dual cultivation technique to break through the nascent soul bottleneck. The technique, invented by sacred ancestor Six Dao, is called Nurturing Phoenix to restore essence. It can only be practiced after Murong Linger forms her golden core. Han Li plans to use this technique when breaking through the nascent soul bottleneck, but it can only be used once. Having cleansed his eyes, Han Li discovered a trace of ability to penetrate restrictions and decided to use it to enhance his divine abilities in the long term. Han Li studied the manuscript of the Green Origin Sword Art and learned that the 10th level divine ability was called the Great Zheng Sword Array. Wondering why it involved formations, after 3 days of contemplation, Han Li was astonished by the might of the Great Zheng Sword Array but believed it had been exaggerated. Han Li discovers the existence of the dry blue ice flame within the golden sphere and plans to refine it. An electric net is used to entrap and then release the dry blue ice flame, forming a blue ball of fire. Han Li nascent soul emerges and swallows a trace of the dry blue ice flame. A month later, Han Li succeeds in refining the flame but needs time to cultivate and gain control over it. Han Li prepares to leave the Falling Cloud Sect and travel to the heavenly Yuan country to search for the metal essence and resolve his conflict with the Fu family. The Fu family's main fortress is located on Zidao Mountain, which has the poisonous cloud and purple miasma formation. Outsiders often mistakenly enter and die. Recently, cultivators have frequently appeared on Zidao Mountain, shouting slogans before entering the fog. It is said that the Fu family sent out invitations. Air, a waiter in Tahi City, received 3 strange cultivators. Although they looked fierce, they were generous with their money. Air noticed that after the cultivators appeared, the feeling of extreme heat disappeared, but reappeared when he went downstairs. When he was delivering food to the room, Air was frightened by the soul-shocking technique of the long-haired cultivator. During their conversation, the cultivators revealed that Air had spiritual roots, which the long-haired cultivator found out through a secret technique. 2 foundation establishment cultivators, known as the Pengyi Duo Shang, speculate that Han Li is a disciple of a small sect rather than a casual cultivator, and that his wealth is substantial and worth targeting. They plan to attack 2 days before the Fu family's birthday celebration to lower Han Li guard and facilitate their ambush. However, Han Li is actually a nascent soul cultivator who has altered his appearance. He has long since been aware of the Pengyi Duo Shang scheme and is not concerned about their conspiracy. He intends to wipe out the Fu family's direct descendants during the birthday celebration. Han Li is interrupted in his treasure hunt by a child's laughter. The girl claims that he is a nascent soul cultivator. Han Li quickly sees through her guise and realizes she is also a nascent soul cultivator. The girl refers to her power as the glaze reflection art, which disguises her seamlessly. Han Li's spiritual sense cannot detect her, but he uses his clarity eye to reveal the girl's true self. He forces her to abandon the disguise. She transforms into a half-foot green human figure and Han Li confirms that this is her nascent soul. However, something feels off about her. The green dwarf resists Han Li exorcism divine thunder and mocks him, saying he can't take his nascent soul. Han Li encircles him with flying swords, but the dwarf's body splits and recombines. Mocking the ineffectiveness of Han Li gold lightning bamboo flying swords, Han Li modifies the exorcism divine thunder, trapping the dwarf in a gall-dark electric web that he can't resist. Han Li imprisons the dwarf in a jade box and seals it with a talisman, silencing his voice. The short and fat cultivator loses his soul and is killed by Han Li. News of the disappearance of the two fierce men in the Yuanwu kingdom spreads, causing delight and speculation among rogue cultivators. Patriarch of the Fu clan was concerned about his upcoming birthday celebration and sensed that something major was about to happen. The Fu clan had previously offended the Tan clan and Hu clan, which raised the patriarch's suspicion. The Fu clan increased their defenses by adding more guards and activating the protective stronghold formation throughout the day. The patriarch of the Fu clan summoned the Ironback Holy Beast to prepare for potential threats. The number of Foundation establishment loose cultivators in the Yuanwu kingdom had risen sharply, and some had fortuitously formed golden cores. The righteous and demonic sects, as well as the Heavenly Tao Alliance, had adopted strategies to either absorb or suppress loose cultivators. A group from the Red Flame sect led by golden core cultivators arrived with their disciples to celebrate the birthday. Han Li infiltrates the Fu family fort and discovers a spirit pet in a monster bag. Lord Fu and another core formation cultivator are wary of Han Li. Han Li reveals his intention to collect a debt and exterminate the entire Fu family. Lord Fu escapes using an Earth Escape talisman. As the Fu family ancestor was fleeing, an enchantress used an incense mist to stun him, and he was beheaded. The guests in the Hall of Fu family fort were attacked, and the communication talisman was shot down. As the guardian of the Demon Flame sect and the Fu family cultivator were preparing to go out to investigate, a green rainbow flew in and instantly killed the three blue-robed elders. All the Fu family cultivators in the hall were killed by the green rainbow, and the guests fell into a panic. The inner fortifications of the Fu clan have been destroyed, and no one has survived. Mortals and low-level disciples outside the fortress are safe and sound. Cultivators spreading the news triggered an uproar. The Fiend Flame sect claimed to seek the murderer, but discerning people regard this as nothing but a bluff. Han Li returned to his former residence at Shin Royas to pay his respects, only to find it occupied. He broke the restriction and entered the old residence in the bamboo building. A middle-aged woman appeared whose face looked familiar to Han Li. Han Li finds a portrait of himself and inquires about its origin. The old woman says the portrait came from Miss Chi's grandmother, but in exchange she demands that Han Li fulfill his promise to Miss Chi. Han Li shows her the head of the Fu family ancestor to prove that he has destroyed the Fu family. The old woman gives Han Li a jade box left by Miss Chi, saying it contains her last words. Han Li opens the jade box to find a jade slip, which he examines with his divine sense. The old woman then reveals that her grandmother once read the contents of the jade slip, causing her to vomit blood and fall into a coma, which is why she was later sealed away. Han Li uses his spiritual power to break the seal and reads the contents of the jade slip. Han Li erased the woman's memory to prevent her from unintentionally leaking secrets. Han Li discovered an ancient array book in the jade slip, which recorded a demonic path divine ability mysterious mother-infant transformation method similar to one chi transforms into three clarities. The mysterious mother-infant transformation method can cultivate a second nascent soul. Although it is not as good as one chi transforms into three clarities, it is still extremely powerful. Han Li decided to go to the kingdom of Yu to handle mortal affairs first, and then return to the Falling Cloud Sect to study the mysterious mother-infant transformation method. A group of cultivators in green robes are searching for a lost spirit infant. If they cannot find him within 3 months, the sect will send an enforcement envoy to pursue their responsibility. 4 green-clothed cultivators revealed to Han Yunji and Lu Mei the details of the spirit infant's escape and the annihilation of the Fu family. Han Yunji remained composed after hearing the news, while Lu Mei showed interest. Han Li entered Yu country and traveled to Taiyue mountain range in search of his former cave abode. After eliminating the puppets, Han Li entered the cave abode and discovered that it had not been entered. Han Li proceeded to the secret chamber where the spirit eye spring was located. Intending to take the spirit spring away, Han Li cast a spell to retrieve the spring, causing spiritual energy to radiate outward and the ground to shake. Han Li successfully transformed the spirit spring into a yellow orb, and the spirit eye spring vanished. Han Li encounters a ghost spirit sect cultivator and is recognized. Han Li kills the Ghost Spirit Sect cultivator and searches the soul of the black-robed old man. The black-robed old man reveals that Han Li was once sought by Dong Shuer of the Harmonious Union Sect. Though Han Li is unaware of the reason. After killing the Ghost Spirit Sect cultivator, Han Li leaves the Taiyue Mountains. At the old site of the Falling Moon Sect, a cultivator in a black robe senses the death of Yu Hong. The black-robed cultivator rings a small bronze bell, summoning 3 Nascent Soul cultivators. In Mira Prefecture, bandits and armed robbers run rampant, and the atmosphere among the people is sturdy and resolute, thus giving rise to many security agencies and transport companies. A fierce battle between bandits and a security agency unfolds in a desolate area, led by a black-clothed man with a similar appearance to the boss of the bandits. Sitting in the carriage are a refined middle-aged scholar, Han Rui, and a big and tall man with sideburns, Li, who are calm and collected despite the tense situation. Li kills the 3 leaders of the bandits wearing black scarves, saving Han Rui and his company. Han Rui thanks Li for his help and recalls the story of the friendly relationship between the Han and Li families many years ago. Han Li entered the tavern and encountered a burly man in a martial artist uniform and a Confucian scholar who happened to be discussing the Han family. The Confucian scholar confided that the Han family was expanding rapidly and had summoned their clansmen back to Woolly Ditch for an ancestral worship ceremony. Han Li set out for Azure Mountain and discovered that his former village had been transformed into the Han fort. He also visited the Han Ancestral Hall to investigate. Using his invisibility technique to enter the Ancestral Hall, Han Li was amazed by the numerous spirit tablets filling the room. However, only the spirit tablets on the 2nd floor had been offered incense. A large man punches Han Li but suffers a backlash. A Confucian scholar asks about the incident, and the large man claims to be unharmed. But Han Li's skills are unfathomable. The scholar recognizes Han Li's resemblance to the 4th great-uncle in the Han family's genealogy and questions his identity. Han Li denies being an imposter, insists he is the 4th great-uncle, and asks how the other man knows his appearance. The large man is surprised that Han Li recognizes the name of his ancestor, Li Feiyu, and Han Li questions the connection between the Li and Han families. The scholar questions Han Li's advanced age, which Han Li attributes to his ability to preserve his youthful appearance. Han Li uses divine sense to perceive a handwritten note on the spirit table, draws it toward him, and examines it. The large man speculates that Han Li is a legendary immortal cultivator and asks for proof of his identity. While the scholar becomes respectful, great-granduncle Han Li appears unexpectedly, lamenting the vicissitudes of life. Han Li declines to renew ties with the Han family, due to the turmoil in the cultivation world and his unwillingness to implicate them. Han Li leaves behind medicinal pills as a gift to the Li family. In gratitude for their care of the Han family, Han Li refines a spirit insect and condenses the devouring gold sword, leaving it in the Han family ancestral hall as a protective treasure. Han Li warns the Han family to use the devouring gold sword with caution, only as a last resort, and that its use is limited. Han Li arrived in the territory of the Yuanwu country, but found that Jiayuan city had drastically changed. The colorful sect was no more, and the Sun family was nowhere to be found. Outside the city of Jiayuan, Han Li noticed he was being followed by 6 nascent soul cultivators and a spirit infant in a seal. The 6 cultivators realized Han Li's presence and decided to flee to the nearby branch altar of the Ghost Spirit Sect for refuge and used a secret technique to increase their escape speed. Han Li's divine sense range had reached 300 kilometers. He detected the cultivators' movements and his face darkened as he pursued them. 2 female disciples of the Yuling sect, Miss Lu and Han Yunji, encounter 3 disciples of the Giling sect, and a cultivator surnamed Shuan accuses the Yuling disciples of going to the Taiyue Mountains. Miss Lu claims they have not been to the Taiyue Mountains but knows of a nascent soul cultivator who had stopped nearby. The Giling sect disciples suspect the Yuling sect disciples are connected to the nascent soul cultivator and demand to have them present. The Yuling sect disciples hesitate, and the Giling sect disciples close in on them. The divine consciousness of a nascent soul cultivator suddenly descends, and the Giling sect disciples flee in panic. Ghost shadow appears, making a loud noise. Woman flees in panic. Han Li pursues. Han Li uses wind thunder wings to catch up to the woman, kills her with sword chi. Woman falls. Han Li sighs, deals with the body. Han Li releases gold-devouring beetles to track and kill Foundation Establishment Cultivator. Target switches to Core Formation Middle Stage Cultivator. Black-robed Cultivator. Black-robed Cultivator suspects Han Li identity. Decides to report to Master. Han Li catches up to Black-robed Cultivator. Kills him with a sword. Brocade-robed Cultivator flees. Senses Han Li approaching. Han Li appears. Says he will see Brocade-robed Cultivator off. Han Yunji uses a secret technique to accelerate her escape. But she is pursued by pursuers. The pursuers suddenly disappear. And Han Yunji is rescued by Han Li. When she wakes up, Han Yunji finds herself intact. And Han Li is nowhere to be seen. Han Yunji finds that her fellow disciple Lu is dead and is puzzled by Han Li's identity. Han Li carries Han Yunji and pursues another female cultivator from the Yuling sect. The female cultivator releases a six-winged frost centipede. And Han Li is surprised to find that this is an ancient spirit insect. All ghost spirit sect cultivators were killed, causing the Nascent Soul Great Devil to rage and send his men to investigate. Han Li has escaped Yu country. So the ghost spirit sect found nothing. Han Yunji reported the mission's failure to her spirit-controlling sect master, concealing the fact that she had been discovered by Nascent Soul cultivators and was let go. The spirit-controlling sect master suspects that the perpetrator may be a late-stage Nascent Soul cultivator, and is apprehensive as a result. The spirit-controlling sect learns that the missing Supreme Wood Spirit infant is a violent fugitive spirit, and believes it to be a good thing. The spirit-controlling sect plans to use the 5 elements spirit infants to increase the cultivation of their disciples. But they lack the lifespan of a real Nascent Soul cultivator. A woman in white arrives at the Loyan sect of the Heavenly Dao Union and is invited into the main hall. Inside the hall, Han Li is holding captive a steel rhinoceros, which the woman identifies as the ancestral spirit beast of the Fu clan, a clan that has been exterminated. The woman introduces herself as Lu Yu of the spirit-controlling sect, and says she has been sent to track down Han Li because he has held captive a supreme wood spirit infant that was created by her sect. Lu Yu explains that the spirit infant is a construct made by the spirit-controlling sect and is used to detect locations. Han Li presses Lu Yu about the spirit infant's purpose, and she reveals under his intimidation that it increases the success rate of her sect's alchemists. Han Li learns that the Greenwood infant spirit is a ferocious spirit beast used in refining spiritual items, more formidable than the weeping soul beast. Lu Yu possesses a 6-winged blood cicada. Han Li proposes a trade, offering to accelerate the cicada larva's growth in exchange for insect eggs and the spirit-controlling sect's insect-controlling technique. Concerned about the consequences of divulging the technique, Lu Yu proposes becoming Han Li's disciple for self-preservation. Han Li agrees, but on the condition that she undergoes the soul lock spell and joins the Falling Cloud Sect as a registered disciple. Han Li's natal demonic fire is not the Asura sacred fire, but a new type of demonic flame with an origin unknown, and power surpassing the cold blue ice flame. Yin Yu believes that Han Li will sweep through the southern heaven. But Han Li cautions that there is no invincible technique in the world of cultivation, and that even the demonic fire may have countermeasures. Han Li believes that after stabilizing the Fallen Cloud Sect, he needs to cultivate forces, and that Lu Yu may develop one herself. Han Li uses the soul-controlling technique to control Lu Yu, taking her as his disciple, and bestowing upon her magic treasures and pills. Yin Yu tames the iron spine beast that Han Li captured, and prepares to sell it at the trading fair in the Yu country. Han Li cultivates the bug-controlling technique, learns the incantation of the insect armor technique, skillfully condenses armor, and enhances his defensive strength. Han Li comprehends the mysterious mother-infant transformation great technique left behind by Xin Ruyin and learns about its ability to defy the heavens, where one can cultivate a separate second nascent soul. However, the cultivation of the mysterious mother-infant transformation great technique is extremely restrictive, requiring the invasion of the nascent soul of other nascent soul cultivators, a process with extremely high risks. Han Li hesitates about practicing profound mother-infant transformation technique, and decides to thoroughly comprehend the oral instructions. A year later, Elder Cheng and Elder Liu from the Falling Cloud Sect visit Han Li cave dwelling. Elder Cheng reveals the results of his disciples' investigation into Han Li background. Han Li was previously a Foundation Establishment cultivator from the Yellow Maple Valley whose outstanding performance during the demonic invasion was overshadowed by the mistakes of old monster Lingu. resulting in his disappearance. Elder Liu mocks old monster Lingu for abandoning Han Li, and hails Han Li cultivation talent. Elder Cheng believes that Han Li addition will secure the Falling Cloud Sect's prosperity for the next millennium, but still harbors doubts about his true strength. Han Li, Elder Lu, and Mu Peeling travel from Shi Kingdom to Tianshan City to participate in the Tianan First Trade Fair. Originally held by the righteous and evil paths, the trade fair was later moved to the neutral Tianshan City. Tianshan City was once the battlefield of a battle between the Immortal Federation and the 9 nations cultivators, resulting in the deaths of several Nascent Soul cultivators. Elder Lu inquires if Han Li has cultivated any secret techniques, but Han Li evades the question. Han Li's keen spiritual sense detects a group of cultivators approaching them in the distance, including a Nascent Soul cultivator. Han Li attends a trade fair at the invitation of South March Marquis. South March Marquis asks Han Li for a spiritual sense competition. If Han Li refuses, he will exchange Mu Peeling for something with Han Li through a forced transaction. A forced transaction is a rule used by Nascent Soul cultivators to settle disputes. The initiator exchanges high-value items for low-value items. If the challenged party refuses, the two can compare cultivation and powers. The winner can make the trade, while the loser loses the items. Han Li and the Marquis of Nanlong engaged in a battle of divine consciousness, their consciousnesses taking on physical forms. Han Li held his own against the Marquis. Lu Luo was surprised by Han Li's strong divine consciousness, believing that he cultivated a divine consciousness technique. Mu Peeling worried about Han Li's chances of victory, while Lu Luo stated that the Marquis of Nanlong had already cultivated to the peak of the mid-nascent soul realm, making it difficult for Han Li to win. The battle of divine consciousness intensified, releasing violent spiritual winds. Lu Luo protected Mu Peeling with a barrier, while the Marquis of Nanlong cast a golden light to shield his subordinates. Han Li proposed to end the competition, and the Marquis of Nanlong seized this opportunity, putting an end to the contest. Han Li and his companions arrive at the Jade Heaven City, a gigantic stone city that ranks among the top 5 cities in the Southern Heaven. Due to the presence of numerous high-level cultivators, the use of spellflight is prohibited within the city. Han Li and his companions enter the city on foot. They head to the noble guest house that accommodates Nascent Soul cultivators. It is protected by a white light barrier, which Lu Luo easily opens with his Nascent Soul divine sense. The 3 select 2 adjacent pavilions as their lodgings, ready to look out for each other. At this moment, Fire Dragon Boy exits from another pavilion, recognizes Han Li and Mu Peeling, and displays a surprised and thoughtful expression. Fire Dragon Boy leads Han Li and Lu Luo into the Tianjing Pavilion, only to find it empty inside. The gray-robed Taoist Tianjing Master greets the trio. Master Tianjing provides the 3 with black spirit masks to conceal their identities, and they proceed to the second floor of the pavilion. They find a spacious room filled with numerous Nascent Soul cultivators. Fire Dragon Boy and the others find a vacant seat. Han Li notices that the room contains over 20 Nascent Soul cultivators, with 2 of them being in the middle stage. A cultivator in a brocade robe offers a 3 millennia scarlet essence mushroom, worth 100,000 spirit stones or equivalent earth attribute materials. Han Li is tempted and considers exchanging it for a 7th grade monster core. The cultivator in the brocade robe requests a 7th grade monster core or 2 6th grade monster cores or higher. Han Li possesses rare monster beast cores and plans to exchange 1 7th grade monster core for the scarlet essence mushroom. At the trade fair, there were precious treasures available for exchange, such as the Xian ring, but its price was far below that of the crimson essence. Han Li offered the water and fire demon pills and the 1,000-year spirit herb, hoping to exchange them for the Zheng essence or related information. All the Nascent Soul cultivators present knew the value of the Zheng essence, but no one could provide any information. Han Li was disappointed, realizing that he would not be able to obtain the Zheng essence at this trade fair. The Nascent Soul cultivators were amazed at the rarity of the Zheng essence, but no one was willing to offer an exchange. Han Li scanned the crowd and noticed something unusual, but he did not linger. True person Tianjing offers ancient puppets in exchange for rare soul stones. Han Li recognizes the soul stones as Yin Netherworld beast crystals and discovers true person Tianjing's secret through them. Han Li exchanges an EGG-sized soul stone for all of true person Tianjing's remaining puppets. True person Tian Jing is surprised by Han Li's soul stone. But Han Li secretly sends him a sound transmission message during the exchange. After the trade fair ends, Han Li and Lu Luo depart together, while Fire Dragon Boy takes his leave beforehand for matters of his own. Han Li, a nascent soul cultivator, realizes that high-level 5 elements techniques are powerful but difficult to cast. The Mu Lan people have developed spirit techniques, which allow low-level casters to rival ordinary cultivators. And high-level casters with spirit techniques can even match those of the same rank. Han Li studies and masters several advanced techniques, but their casting speeds are painfully slow and almost useless in combat. Han Li discovers that using high-level talisman with magic treasures can achieve the effect of dozens of nascent soul cultivators attacking simultaneously. But at a very high cost. Han Li searches for a top-tier talisman brush in Heavenly Dao City and witnesses a dispute between Luo Yun Sect disciple Sun Huo and the owner of a small sundry shop. Sun Huo purchased a low intermediate grade fire cloud talisman from the shop. But the owner demands 300 spirit stones, claiming that it was created by a grandmaster talisman refiner and is far more valuable than ordinary intermediate grade talismans. Han Li reveals his nascent soul cultivator identity, suppressing everyone. Sun Huo recognizes Han Li, bows respectfully, and holds half of a talisman. Han Li releases his aura, questioning the shopkeeper's remarks against the Falling Cloud Sect. Tian Cheng's law enforcer, Wu Fei, arrives to mediate the dispute between Han Li and the store. Han Li demands an inspection of the fire cloud talismans sold by the shopkeeper. The shopkeeper confesses that the talismans are ordinary, and Wu Fei promises severe punishment. Han Li leaves with Sun Huo, who offers him the half talisman. Han Li retrieves the other half of the talisman, and the two pieces fit together perfectly. Han Li visited Mu Peeling and gave her a spirit pendant for self-defense. Han Li visited True Immortal Tian Jing and proposed a trade for information on soul stones and Zheng essence. True Immortal Tian Jing revealed that there might be Zheng essence appearing at the auction. But competition would be fierce. Han Li threatens True Monarch Tian Jing with a soul stone in exchange for puppet refining techniques. True Monarch Tian Jing provides ancient puppet techniques, but the materials required for the puppets are extremely precious. Han Li asks True Monarch Tian Jing if he has gathered all the materials. And True Monarch Tian Jing reveals that he has already obtained a semi-finished puppet. Han Li is displeased and exchanges the soul stone for the puppet techniques, only to find that the materials are difficult to collect. True Monarch Tian Jing pockets the soul stone, impressed by Han Li's determination. In fact, Han Li has secretly obtained some of the valuable materials and is confident that he can complete the puppet techniques. Han Li visits the Marquis of Nanlong and enters a restricted secret chamber. The Marquis of Nanlong introduces several people, among whom the young master of the Ghost Spirit Sect recognizes Han Li. Bearing a grudge, the Ghost Spirit Sect Master Wang Tiamu appears to mediate. Han Li reconciles on the surface, but has other plans in mind. The young master of the Ghost Spirit Sect deliberately reveals Han Li's age, drawing the attention of other cultivators. Han Li observes the attendees, speculating about their identities, and discovers the presence of Wang Chan and his wife from the Ghost Spirit Sect and a nascent soul cultivator. Marquis Nanlong plans to travel to the edge of Muren Steppes to find the secret cave of the Venerable Cancun. 5,000 years ago, the Venerable Cancun was the #1 independent cultivator in Tianan and had once suppressed both the righteous and demonic sects. After being besieged, the Venerable Cancun self-destructed his puppet body and escaped, breaking into the demonic Abyss Valley and retrieving a treasure. Marquis Nanlong believes that the Venerable Cancun's treasure may be hidden in a cave on the Muren Steppes. Marquis Nanlong and the Old Man in White invite nascent soul cultivators to join them, believing that ordinary mages cannot stop them. The Marquis of Nanlong and the Old Man in White provide an address and method for exploring the Devilfall Valley and request more treasures. The group agrees and arranges to depart after the trade fair. Han Li agrees to go to the Devilfall Valley with hopes of obtaining treasures to advance to the nascent soul stage. Other cultivators join with similar hopes or in search of opportunities. Wang Tiamu plans to go to the Muren Prairie and, upon learning of the animosity between Wang Chan and Han Li, warns both parties to be cautious and wary of ambushes. Han Li prepares and goes to the meeting place, where he finds the Marquis of Nanlong has changed his appearance. The three men from the Ghost Spirit Sect arrive together, attracting Han Li's attention. The 9-person group leaves Tian City and heads to the Mu Lan Prairie. Han Li used his formidable divine sense to detect a massive yellow wind-up ahead, which he identified as the Red Dust Myriad Feet spiritual technique cast by Mu Lan mages. This spiritual technique had an astonishing range, and the yellow sand and gale had the effect of protecting the body while trapping the enemy. The old man in white analyzed that the Mu Lan people, who had ceased their hostilities for over 100 years, might have been recovering their strength and preparing to launch a new round of warfare. Nan Gongwan and the others decided to temporarily avoid the wind formation, conceal their movements, and look for an opportunity to slip through it from the side to evade the Mu Lan vanguard. Han Li used his divine sense to notice Wang Tianmu and the others concealing their movements and escaping to the side. But Han Li's divine sense far surpassed theirs and he was able to track their location. An enormous, skyward wind pillar appeared within the wind formation, and Han Li sensed the silhouette of a mage flickering within it. After breaking the restriction, the 7 old monsters escaped. Han Li sensed an anomaly and looked towards a certain spot. Nan Gongwan used the fixed stars disc to determine their direction, and the others followed after him. Wang Chan and Yan Ruyan followed Wang Tianmu away, but gave Han Li a glance. Han Li looked towards the spot where he had sensed the anomaly again, and smiled coldly before leaving. A large, dark hole appeared, and a gigantic demonic insect crawled out, with 3 figures riding on its back. The figure in white suggested trapping Han Li and the others, but the figure in green mist claimed it was impossible. Mentioning Master Mu from the Heavenly Wind Department, Han Li discovers a hidden cultivator but remains inconspicuous. Han Li and his companions flee at great speed after escaping the sandstorm. Nan Gongwan and his group become slightly less vigilant upon reaching the edge of the Mu Lan Grasslands. A cultivator-operated wind chariot rapidly pursues, carrying 5 Nascent Soul cultivators. Nan Gongwan decides to split into groups and regroup in 3 days. Nan Gongwan, the white-robed elder, the old woman, the black-faced man, the cultivator surnamed Yu, and Wang Tianmu each use their divine abilities to scatter and escape. Han Li engages in a chase with Jade Wind Carriage and discovers it's a top-grade flying artifact. Han Li decides to test his Nascent Soul stage strength by battling the cultivator inside the Jade Wind Carriage. Han Li sets up a cyan sword array, summons the 3-colored devouring gold bugs, and puts on the insect armor. The cultivator in the Jade Wind Carriage intervenes, and Han Li uses the silver bell and cyan rainbow. The cultivator deploys a blue light screen to defend against the cyan rainbow encounters with a blue silk python. The cultivator reveals himself as a Nascent Soul Stage 2 Chi Peak cultivator wearing a blue brocade robe. Han Li battles the surnamed Mu Elder and discovers the extraordinary toughness of the silk net. Trapping his giant sword, the surnamed Mu Elder casts ice crystal art, sending countless ice crystals toward Han Li. Han Li deploys the ancient vase treasure and the devouring gold bug swarm to block the ice crystals. A silver giant bell emits sound waves to shatter the silk net. Freeing the giant sword, Han Li holds a deep blue ice flower in his hand. Shocking the elder, Han Li proposes an information exchange, requesting the surnamed Mu Elder reveal the details of ice crystal art. Han Li, noticing the astonishing power of the Black Mountain Peak, decided to take the opportunity to seize the treasure and eliminate the old man. Han Li's dry blue ice flame countered the old man's ice at tribute technique, and his wind and thunder wings gave him a speed advantage, increasing his chances of victory. Han Li launched an attack, trapping the old man with his giant sword and silver bell, and using his azure needles to break through the ice shield. The old man summoned the Black Mountain Peak to suppress Han Li's treasures. Sensing the impending danger, the old man attempted to retreat, but Han Li pursued relentlessly. Appearing beside the wind wheel, the old man assumed that the ice shield would deflect Han Li's attack. But Han Li surrounded his hand with dry blue ice flame, shattering the shield and capturing the old man. The elder's body is destroyed, leaving Han Li to obtain ancient treasure and a storage pouch. The storage pouch holds ordinary possessions with no spell jades. Han Li acquires the thousandfold peak and wind chariot, leaving after a futile pursuit of the elder's nascent soul. 3 days later, Han Li meets Nan Gongwan and others on the Mu Lan Prairie. Nan Gongwan informs him that Taoist friends Wang and Yu have been engaged by pursuers. Han Li conceals his experience with the pursuers. They discuss the impact of the Mu Lan Prairie conflict on the Tianan region. Various forces will send reinforcements, making it unlikely that the Milanese will triumph. However, the motivations behind the Milanese provocation remain unknown, suggesting they may have external support. Nan Gongwan and his companions intercepted fellow Taoist Yu, finding that they were being pursued by two sorcerers. The sorcerer with the hemp hat announced that they would delay the pursuit for half a day while waiting for reinforcements. The white-robed elder activated a silver flying wheel, while Nan Gongwan unsheathed a golden flying sword in preparation for battle. Suddenly, a flash of fire appeared in the sky, and the sorcerer with the hemp hat gasped as he received a sound transmission talisman. The two sorcerers became interested in Han Li and engaged in a private conversation with the hemp-hatted sorcerer. The sorcerers eventually decided to abandon the pursuit and soared away as rainbows. Wang Tiamu asked Han Li if he knew the sorcerers, but Han Li denied it. The ground shook violently, and a rift of white light appeared in the stone mountain, revealing blue stone steps leading below. The Marquis of Nanlong and the old man in white led the group into the rift. 100 zhang into the stone mountain. A mysterious hall appeared before them, its walls glowing blue and impenetrable to divine consciousness. The Marquis of Nanlong closed the exit passage, claiming the restriction would activate itself and part the stone mountain again in 3 days. The old woman suggested using treasures to break through the Tai Miao restriction, to which the Marquis of Nanlong and the old man in white agreed. The old woman's condition was that she would have priority in choosing treasures if they succeeded. The thunderfire cone struck the Tai Miao divine ban, but the wall remained unscathed. The Tai lady increased the thunderfire cone's power, and the tip pierced the crystal wall, but it was ultimately entangled and shattered by blue light threads. With her treasure destroyed, the Tai lady's enthusiasm waned. Wang Tianjiu remained silent, while Han Li expressed his willingness to give it a try. Han Li sets up a formation, embedded in the crystal walls, and breaks the restrictions. After the 4 crystal walls are broken, a stone wall and a stone gate appear. The cultivators enter the stone gate and find a jade platform pavilion with a silver-white scroll inside. The first floor of the tower displays treasures, classified into ancient treasures, magical treasures, materials, and medicinal pills. Everyone evaluates the treasures, discusses their worth, and prepares to divide them up. Han Li is interested in the other items in the tower, but the white-robed elder gets to them first. Yan Ruyan takes the initiative to talk to Han Li, trying to resolve their conflict. But Han Li refuses. Duke Nanlong distributes the treasures, with ancient treasures and magical treasures available for selection. But Wang Tiamu raises a question. Han Li gives up his priority to choose, waiting to make a decision on the second floor. Wang Tianjiu asked the elder surnamed Yun and Marquis Nanlong to pick other items first instead of checking the treasures inside the jade box. The elder surnamed Yun thought it was unfair and insisted on checking the jade box first. Marquis Nanlong supported the elder surnamed Yun and used his Yuan Ying stage midterm power to pressure Wang Tianjiu. Wang Tianjiu had the support of Madame Tai and the cultivator surnamed Yu and thought the jade box might contain the most valuable treasure. Marquis Nanlong felt that Wang Tianjiu and the others had already formed an alliance and the situation became tense. Han Li remained neutral. Neither side attempted to win him over. The old man in white suddenly attacked Marquis Nanlong and the situation deteriorated rapidly. After Nanlong Marquis' wounds were healed, an elder surnamed Yun suggested that Nanlong Marquis should be the first to be eliminated. Wang Tianjiu sent a cultivator surnamed Yu to entangle Han Li, while the others besieged Nanlong Marquis. But Nanlong Marquis unexpectedly handed a jade box to Han Li. Wang Chan and Yan Ruyan from the Wang Tianjiu faction assisted the cultivator surnamed Yu, believing that Han Li was not a threat. After Han Li put away the jade box, the atmosphere in the pavilion grew tense. Neither side could gain the upper hand. Nanlong Marquis' wounds worsened, while Wang Tianjiu and the others were afraid of his counterattack. Han Li instantly freezes a Yuan Ying cultivator with his glacial blue flames and seizes his magic tool. Wang Chan and Yan Ruyan team up to use a blood spirit grand magic to trap their enemy. Han Li declines to join forces with Marquis Nanlong and instead decides to provoke a fight between Marquis Nanlong and Wang Tiamu and the others. Han Li summons the black rock and presses it down on Wang Tiamu and the others. Wang Tiamu and the others dodge the rock, and Marquis Nanlong takes the opportunity to attack the old woman. Han Li escapes from Jade Tripod Pavilion. Marquis Nanlong appears and uses a secret technique to entrap Wang Tiangu and others. Marquis Nanlong uses the split mountain banner to open the outer restrictions and asks Han Li to delay. Han Li uses the profound mystery restriction to seal the hall again. But its power is weaker. Marquis Nanlong breaks through the ancient treasures of Wang Tiangu and others. And the crystal wall begins to shake. Han Li releases the gold-devouring worms and uses the insect armor technique. Marquis Nanlong opens the stone staircase passage. And Han Li and Marquis Nanlong escape one after another. Marquis Nanlong curses Han Li and uses extremely fast escape techniques to flee. Wang Tiangu wonders about the speed of Han Li and Marquis Nanlong's escape techniques. The Marquis of Southern Mark is linked to the Heavenly Extremity Gate. Elder Yun tries to persuade the black-faced man and the old woman to join the Ghost Spirit Gate. But they refuse. Elder Yun plans to search the Marquis of Southern Mark's soul for information about the Falling Demon Valley. But worries that the map is in Han Li J box. He suggests several alternatives. Han Li arcane abilities are strange and unpredictable, leaving the others in awe of his strength. Returning to the ruins of the Jade Islet Pavilion, they find that Wang Chan's leg has been severed. Their restorative spell fails, and the wound is surrounded by a dark aura. Han Li flew in concealment for 100 miles, determined his direction, and transformed into a beam of blood light. On his way, he encountered a group of tens of thousands of mortal land mortals and decided to hide among them to go to the South Heaven. Mortal land mortals organized temporary tribes and seized resources in the South Heaven, which the cultivators there had no time to deal with. Han Li used divine consciousness to probe the group and found no threats. So he hid his body and concealed himself in a carriage. Mortal land spellcasters had taken to the streets. So Han Li avoided returning to the South Heaven too openly. To avoid encountering danger, hiding in the mortal group, Han Li predicted that he would be able to leave safely in 2 or 3 days. Han Li studied mortal land and understood their conversations. Discovering their awe of spellcasters, Han Li sealed off the inside of the carriage, blocking out sound. Silver Moon reported the harvest, taking away half of the jade boxes, leaving 4 in Han Li hands, who had now collected 6 in total. Han Li opened the remaining jade boxes. The green porcelain bottle contained a pungent substance, while the purple light sphere contained the defensive treasure. Purple golden hood. The white fox recognized the use of the purple golden hood. It had a wide range of defensive capabilities and the ability to trap enemies, making it one of the best defensive treasures. Silver Moon recognized the purple golden hood as a treasure she might have possessed before being refined. However, her memory was hazy, making it difficult to recall specific details. The jade slip that Han Li opened recorded Monk Kang Kun's cultivation techniques and secret arts. However, he was unable to practice the main cultivation technique. Han Li collected all the treasures and went into seclusion inside the carriage, with Silver Moon close by. After the carriage passed the inspection, it left the Mullen Prairie. Han Li and Silver Moon separated from the group and entered the wilderness. Han Li avoided trouble and entered the kingdom of Fengwan, where he discovered that there were no cultivators from the 9 Nations Alliance and a large number of sorcerers. Near an unknown hill, Han Li sensed a fierce battle between cultivators and speculated that it might be a fight between cultivators and sorcerers. Amidst a raging storm, 5 cultivators find themselves trapped. A bald monk appears and lunges at a beautiful woman, but Han Li thwarts him with a blast of sword energy that scatters the monk's feather fan, dispelling the storm. Enraged, the bald monk summons 2 earth dragons to attack Han Li using the binding spirit beast technique. Han Li freezes the dragons with azure ice flames and shatters them with his sword energy. Han Li encounters his former acquaintances, Lei Wanhe and Ni Ying, who address him as a senior. Surprising Han Li, Ni Ying recognizes Han Li and reveals his identity, shocking everyone. Lei Wanhe is wary and refers to Han Li as a senior. Han Li invites Lei Wanhe and the others to join him on his wind escape vehicle. The wind escape vehicle's incredible speed delights them. Han Li inquires about why the 5 were stranded there, and Lei Wanhe explains that Fengyuan Kingdom has fallen under the control of sorcerers, and they are attempting to escape. Upon encountering a disciple of the Veiled Moon Sect, Han Li reminisced about a past acquaintance and learned that Xiao Ruxin had formed her golden core and married. Han Li inquired about Nan Gongwan's well-being and discovered that she had advanced to Nascent Soul and was preparing to hold a dual cultivation ceremony with a cultivator from the Heavenly Dao Union. Hearing of Nan Gongwan's upcoming dual cultivation, Han Li became agitated, but quickly regained his composure and expressed his intention to attend the ceremony. Han Li asked after the whereabouts of Nan Gongwan's cousin, Nan Gongping, but the Veiled Moon Sect disciple informed him that no such person existed within the sect. Elders of Yellow Maple Valley discuss Han Li's potential and influence with other cultivators from different sects. Han Li's relationship with Nan Gongwan is revealed, alarming the elders of Yellow Maple Valley. Lei Wanhe tries to win Han Li back, but is informed of Han Li's connection with Patriarch Nangong from Hidden Moon Sect. Lei Wanhe travels to Hidden Moon Sect to request Patriarch Nangong to persuade Han Li. Han Li learns about Nan Gongwan's arranged marriage and decides to intervene. Considering various options, Han Li plans to meet Nan Gongwan to understand her feelings and then determine his course of action. Han Li infiltrated the country of Northern Liang, kidnapped Elder Yuan Kun and others from the Falling Moon Sect, and obtained intelligence on the Linglong Mountain. The Silver Fox Yinyu used illusion magic, combined with Han Li's soul-searching methods, to obtain Yuan Kun's memories. Han Li disguised himself as Yuan Kun, infiltrated the Falling Moon Sect market, and prepared to sneak into the mountaintop to search for Nan Gongwan. Han Li meets a senior who claims to be an old acquaintance of Nan Gongwan. The senior gives him a gift and a prohibition to pass on to Nan Gongwan. Han Li is trapped by the prohibition, and two cultivators, one with fair skin and one with coarse hands, suspect that it was cast by a Nascent Soul stage cultivator. They demand to see the gift first. Han Li produces a wooden box with a prohibition talisman attached. The fair-skinned cultivator goes to Nan Gongwan to confirm the authenticity of the gift. Nan Gongwan sends the fair-skinned cultivator to bring Han Li up the mountain to remove the prohibition. However, they encounter a cultivator in a brocade robe on the way, who inquires about Han Li's identity and the source of the prohibition. After examining Han Li's prohibition, the brocade robe cultivator concludes that it is not malicious and agrees to let Han Li see Nan Gongwan. After Han Li meets Nan Gongwan, they reminisce about the past. Han Li learns that Nan Gongwan is engaged and impulsively expresses his love for her, wanting to take her away. Nan Gongwan reveals that she had let Han Li go during the blood trial because she felt sorry for him. But she still has not forgotten about the incident when she lost her virginity to him. Han Li learns that Nan Gongwan knows about his identity and his concubines. After his explanation, Nan Gongwan interrupts him and asks if he has come to stop her wedding. After establishing a foothold in the Hidden Moon Sect, Han Li searched for Nan Gongwan, but to no avail. Wei Lichen proposed marriage to Nan Gongwan, but she refused. Wei Lichen's granduncle, Wei Wuxia, the Supreme Elder of the Nine Nations Alliance, intervened in the matter. The Grand Elder of the Hidden Moon Sect forced Nan Gongwan to marry Wei Lichen and spread rumors of their dual cultivation. Nan Gongwan never agreed to the marriage, which Han Li was thrilled to learn. Nan Gongwan admitted her feelings for Han Li, but they both kept their emotions hidden. After some deliberation, Nan Gongwan decided to accept Han Li. Han Li plans to capture his senior martial sister with Nan Gongwan, utilizing Nan Gongwan's cave-dwelling restrictions in his own formations. Nan Gongwan agrees to lure his senior martial sister over, employing concealed restrictions to assist. Han Li deploys formations and summons the Silver Moon White Fox to assist, releasing the three-colored gold devouring beetles as a backup. Nan Gongwan recovers her magic power, and Han Li sets everything up, preparing to await his senior martial sister's arrival. The Sunset Hall is the exclusive residence of the Grand Elder, and it is heavily guarded. A beam of red light enters the hall and is intercepted by an icy woman. Learning that Nan Gongwan has a request, the woman takes the initiative to visit Nan Gongwan's cave dwelling. The restrictions outside the cave dwelling are normal, but after the woman enters, she finds that Nan Gongwan has received a gift but is behaving unusually. The woman instructs the yellow-clad girl to continue spying on Nan Gongwan and gives her a high-level spirit talisman. In the hall, Nan Gongwan agrees to marry into the Wai sect, but with conditions. Entering the hall, the woman finds Nan Gongwan looking at a silver greatsword and trying to attack the yellow-clad girl. The yellow-clad girl uses an earth escape technique to flee, and the woman finds that her escape technique is unusual and quickly retreats. The woman activates a light shield to defend against the silver wave's attack. Nan Gongwan takes action, releasing a fireball and a hidden weapon to attack the woman. The woman sustains a hidden weapon attack, and uses a light-gathering treasure mirror to trap Nan Gongwan's treasure. Han Li activates the Thousand Heavy Peak to attack the woman, but it is blocked by the light-gathering treasure mirror. Han Li and the woman reach a stalemate, while Nan Gongwan attempts to rescue her treasure. Han Li claims the blood demon sword is nothing to fear, but the cold woman disagrees and bites her tongue to offer blood to the blood demon sword, infusing it with spiritual energy and increasing its power. Nan Gongwan strikes in time, but the cold woman uses the thick fog from the triangle small flag to stop her. With a backhand strike, the blood-colored sword overpowers Han Li, and he is bound, facing an impending catastrophe. At this critical juncture, Han Li releases the evil warding Divine Thunder, forming an arc of gold that shields him from the blood-colored sword aura. He increases the power of the thunder, trapping the blood-colored sword aura, and then gathers it into a blood-colored mist.